My preconceived notions of the Resident Evil series was that it would be a pretty simple playing game overall, kind of just moving through various levels, killing some zombies. I never watched anything on the series, and don't ask me where I got this from, kids will be kids, but after playing my first ever Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 4, I realized I was incredibly incorrect. And now I want to continue playing games in the series. I would say the moment I officially knew I was in for something a little deeper than a run-of-the-mill zombie game was when I had to fight a giant fish in a lake using harpoons and a speedboat, which happens pretty early on, and don't shoot the water. At that point I had no idea what the game might throw at me anymore. The fuck is this thing? Has a very in-depth story with multiple characters, kind of a beefy game. Took me a little over 20 hours to beat, albeit some of that time you can attribute to talking to chat, etc. But how long to beat puts it as all playstyles around 18 hours. Seems right. Still a decently long story. Instead of doing a review of the game, which obviously, as it's considered one of the all-time greats, isn't needed because many better people before me have already done this, instead I'm just going to talk about the parts of the game that I narrowed down, which I personally love. So don't watch if you don't want any spoilers. Alright, so the best part of the game is I finally know where "What are you buying?" in that voice is from.
What are you buying?
I had a friend in college that would always say that to me when we were playing Magic the Gathering, and I would play this card called Thoughtseize against him, and it lets you see your opponent's hand and make them discard a non-land card. He would always say, "What are you buying?" when I played it, and I just thought he was a weird kid like me. But he really probably wanted me to return with a "What are you selling?" for the ultimate inside joke nerd fist bump. And I blew it. So if you ever watch this, I'm truly sorry. I was the loser. Okay, no, seriously. First off, we are going straight to the combat system. When my friend told me a little bit about the game before I started, I remember thinking, no walking while aiming? That's gonna feel old and outdated. But no. Nope. Get that out of your head. It's incredible. Immediately sets the feel of the game. I feel like the combat system is the biggest contributor to the scary, creepy sensation of the game. That and playing in a pitch black basement with a furnace from God knows when. If you watch a stream, you know what I mean. So, in addition to the slow, meticulous movement in the combat, you need to quickly understand, as I found the hard way and immediately ran out of rifle ammo, that the combat is also multifaceted. You can't really run and gun. It will go more something like hit an enemy with a shot to stun them, run up and perform a kick maneuver, and then use the knife while they're on the ground. It's all about efficiency and controlling the room, and I have no idea if this is the correct way to play the game, but in my first playthrough of all time, I pretty much always had a variation of pistol, a shotgun. I love the riot gun that I picked up in the castle, and I just held that the rest of the game. A weapon called the TMP, which is like an MP5 submachine-like gun, and the rifle for long-range efficiency, and in my opinion this rounded me out really well. I had a weapon for every situation, the pistol for 1v1 efficient attacks, shotgun for knocking down a group with one blast, and the TMP for situations where large swaths, that's a weird word when you say it, are coming at me, and I could kind of fish in a barrel them down a walkway or something like that. And then on top of this, some enemies you'll have to use things like flashes to finish them off quickly, as much as I would always forget to do so and ended up with storing a plethora of flashbangs in my inventory. This controlled, manipulative combat where you're controlling the enemies makes the horror fantasy world feel more real and grounded, and just overall more creepy and scary. Your character doesn't feel extremely overpowered like in most games I've played in my life. Even though Leon really is a badass. One quick example I'll give of the combat loop giving you some uneasiness, that, at least for me, in battle you can do a quick turn by double tapping square, and you do a complete 180 turnaround, and you'll have to do this to try and make quick getaways or dodge an attack or, whatever, various situations. And every time I did it, there was a split moment of apprehension because I had no idea what was going to be behind me when I spun around. There's always a chance an enemy will be right in your face. Many a jump scare occurred on stream because of this. Secondly, next part I love is how the boss battles and main encounters are handled. In most games I've played in life, the boss battles are done in an arena of sorts, whether that be Dark Souls or Elden Ring, Gauntlet, Dark Legacy, or even the Crash games, the bosses are handled that way, for instance. But in RE4, there's nothing arena-ish about them. Even they feel real and seem to just pop up on you, and you need to use the environment you're in to your advantage. Instead of an arena, each sequence feels very unique, and it's always interesting to find out what you're going to have to do in the situation the game puts you in. Whether it's in a barn... What the fuck? It's like a centipede? Can I go up here? What's up here? Or even fighting the final boss on the island. You need to figure out the weaknesses, use the environment around you, and actually interact with the boss through quick time events for dodging and big damage outputs. It's really cool. One encounter that sticks with me, which I'm not even sure is considered a main boss of the game, but definitely memorable, was the Verdugo thing you fight. So you pull this lever for an elevator, and you need to survive until the elevator arrives. And at the beginning of the battle, I was actually trying to fight the thing, and I was just getting destroyed. But the area you're in is very narrow, and he could jump up above on a catwalk of sorts, and he tries to stab you with his tail or whatever, and you need to be ready for dodge, quick time events. And he then found out you can freeze him by hiding him by these liquid nitrogen tanks that are placed in the area to stall him a little bit. I found out you don't have to defeat him, you just have to survive long enough till the elevator comes up and jump on, and you never have to beat him. But I found out after completing the game, when I actually looked stuff up on the game, that he can be defeated with an insane amount of ammo, so that's kind of crazy. I mean, being able to progress by killing a boss or just avoiding him altogether, pretty neat. Another example on my mind is the Water Hall, where you fight hordes of enemies while Ashley's with you. And unlike the previous, where it's very claustrophobic, this is open with multiple lanes. You need to efficiently need your resources to eliminate all the enemies coming at you, all while keeping helpless Ashley alive. I think I literally used all of my ammo in this part, if I remember correctly. So yeah, just two quick examples of completely different types of encounters, and it goes on. Obviously, there's even more. The house defending sequence with Luis.
Okay.
Luis and Leon. Leon and Luis. Or the encounter with the blind Wolverine dude in a cage while there's enemies outside the cage shooting crossbows at you. I feel like the game just does a great job at keeping you on your toes. Never lets you get comfortable where you can prepare or expect what's coming next. And it just keeps the game feeling fresh from the beginning to the end, in my opinion. And then to top it off with the third aspect of the game that I think I love the most is that the game has no dead space. And what I mean by that is every area you go through has meaning and purpose, whether that be finding items, save locations, extra currency, and so on. You never feel like you're just walking to the next destination. You're always in it. Like, you are in it currently, and I like that. After playing a lot of modern open world games where it feels just empty between points of interest, to the degree where you're asking yourself, why even have this be an open world game? It's pretty damn refreshing. Even when the game makes you backtrack, it does it in an interesting way. For instance, after beating the giant fish I mentioned previously called Del Lago, you need to make your way back from where you came, but this time when you get to this area, a giant troll comes barging in. Okay. And when you walk through this area for the first time, you can hear some noise in the background, like you're missing something. So you have this feeling you'll come back for some unfinished business, and sure enough you do. Spoiler, it's not the last time you see trolls. It gets crazier than that. But yeah, because there's so many hidden items, treasures, crates to smash, snakes, you can fuck off. Ah! Dude, I hate that so much. Worst enemy in the game. I hate those things. They got me every time. I never hit one of them with a knife before it attacked me. Puzzles to solve. You're completely involved, interacting with the environment throughout the game, and it forces you to take it all in. It's just great. I could go on with more things, guys. The game has so many things going for it, like sound design. You know, you never know where the enemies always sound like they're in your head, like they're just creepy. They just feel like they're always surrounding you. The interesting storyline, like honestly, way more in depth and grandiose than I expected. And the weapon progression system and upgrade systems, and I'm sure more if I sat here and really thought about it for a while. So if you like old games and you like this video, maybe pull up a chair in the basement. Come back. Stay a while. Till next time, guys. Peace.